section. If you have a follow-up question, ask it following your first. Start with Reed Wilkins, 630 Chad.
Josh, I'll ask you about a memory first. There's a possibility Ryan McLeod makes his NHL debut tonight. What do you remember about your first NHL game?
Oh, I think it's a lot of fun. We're really excited, and I think it just brings a little boost to the team. He's going to be jumping, going to be bringing a lot of energy, so it'll be an exciting night. I know mine was, and I think everybody else's was. So we're all excited for him, and we're looking forward to it.
All right. Obviously, as we've gone through the season, you've seen the Jets and every other team a lot of times. What do you think has lended to the fact that most of the games between the Oilers and the Jets have often been decided in the third period or even in the last 5 or 10 minutes of a game?
I think it's just the way we play against each other. All the games have been hard. Higher hitting, low scoring, which I think just pertains to the defense. We're playing good defense against each other. There hasn't been a lot of power plays or penalty kills, and when there has been, they've been getting killed off. So looking forward to tonight, and it'll be a battle again.
Kelly Moore, CJOB.
Hey, good morning, Josh. Couple questions for you here. Number one, where are we at on the Archibald versus Scheifele leaves the line last competition?
I just had to mess with him that one time early on in the season. I'm not too superstitious on things like that, but I know he is, so I was just trying to get in his head. But as far as it goes anymore, he can have it all he wants. I'll worry about myself and our team and just go from there.
And speaking of your team, Josh, earlier in the series, perhaps it was perceived that the Winnipeg Jets, with their deep set of forwards, might be able to take advantage from a depth perspective if Leon and Connor were playing on the same line. But that has not been the case. Is that a badge of honor for the guys who don't have last names of McDavid and Draisaitl for how well you guys have played in this series?
I think if you look up and down our lineup, we're pretty deep, if just not as deep as they are. So I think that says a lot about our team too. But it's good for them. They've been carrying us all year long. They're the two best players in the league. But when it's time for us to step up, our bottom 6 or bottom 9 have been stepping up and doing a good job of it.
Mark Spector, Sportsnet.
Yeah, Josh, you've maybe the difference between this meeting with Winnipeg and all the other ones is it looks a lot like you guys are going to meet in the playoffs now. Does that shine a different light on this 2-game series?
If that's the case, you just look at it as, game 1 of the playoffs. You got to go out there and obviously with 10 games left, it's going to be playoff style hockey. So why not start now and, just show them what they're going to be looking forward to.
And as such, the Jets and Oilers are kind of playing for home ice advantage. I don't need to get into what home ice advantage is worth with no fans, but it's something. And if I know NHL players, you guys are going to fight for it. Is that a bone you want to take away from them before we get going in the playoffs?
Yeah, obviously you want to have home ice advantage. You don't have to go. You don't have to stay in a hotel. You stay at home. You're with your family. Obviously still a lot of uncertainty with what's going on with playoffs for us right now. But, if things keep going the way they are, you definitely want home ice advantage. And, we'll do everything we can to try to get that.
Thank you. If there are no more questions, this concludes Josh Archibald's media availability. If you have questions, please use the raise hand function. Hands media. Start with Ryan Rashog, TSN.
Hey, Adam. Obviously, you guys get an addition to the lineup. Just your thoughts so far and what you've seen, and what you think Dimitri might be able to help you guys with.
It looks like he's going to be my partner too. He brings a lot. Steady defenseman with a proven good shot and proven to be solid in this league for a good amount of years. So it's a good addition for us.
What's the process like with a new teammate and a new partner on the ice, just to get used to being where you're supposed to be? How long does it take, do you think, before you're comfortable and are kind of moving the puck as a unit comfortably?
We'll see. I mean, he's been looking good in practice the last couple of days. Obviously, he's been sitting and hasn't played a game in a couple of days. So it's gonna, for us to be where we're at, it's probably gonna take a couple of games, but it's right now for our team and for our group and for us as a pair. So we're gonna do the best we can to help him out tonight, and we'll kind of go from there.
Mark Spector, Sportsnet.
Hey, Adam. In most pairings, there's kind of a stay-at-home guy and a more offensive guy. Which one is the more offensive guy in this pairing?
I think you know the question to that one. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, he probably have a little bit more upside on the offensive side of the game than I do. So if he wants to go, he has the green light to do so.
The difference between this meeting with Winnipeg and all the previous ones is it looks pretty clear you guys are going to meet in the playoffs here. Is there something that starts now? Is there, I guess, what different light does it shine on this 2-game series, knowing that there's a good chance you guys meet in the first round?
Well, I mean, every game coming down the stretch is going to be playoff like hockey. Everybody's trying to get ready. Everybody's trying to fight for that playoff spot. I mean, it's still a couple of games left where there's a lot of points that you can collect. So that's our focus right now. It's not, we're trying to get into the playoffs right now, and that's what we're focusing on. And once we get there, we'll deal with that later.
Paul Gazzola, Oilers TV.
Hey, Adam. Obviously, Dimitri is making his debut today, and there's also the potential for Ryan to get into the lineup and make his NHL debut. As a veteran, just what do you tell a rookie ahead of his first game?
Well, I think the most important thing is to have fun. I mean, it's whatever brought him here. He's done a tremendous job and down in the American League, so he earned his right to be here, and just go out and trust your game.
Any other questions, media? Thank you. This concludes Adam Larson's media availability. please use the raise hand function. Hands media, Reed Wilkins, 630 Ched.
Well, Dave, I guess just to follow up some of the things we talked about yesterday, is Ryan McLeod in tonight? And would you be willing to let us know his line mates that you expect to start with?
Yeah, he's in tonight. He's got Shore on the left and Archibald on the right.
Okay. And look, you've seen every Canadian team a lot, obviously. You're going to see the Jets here and maybe more in the playoffs. A lot of these games have come down to the third period, even the last 5 or 10 minutes. So why do you think that is?
I think both teams they're similar. Their records are similar. You look at all the stats from shots to goals for, against, very similar. They're just tight games. Tight games that, that either one play might be a save, might be a power play that gets an advantage. So they've been tight games, good games.
Ryan Rashog, TSN.
What are your expectations of Larson and Kulikov together, and just the thought process on playing those two together and how their styles you think maybe help one another?
Well, we'll see. We decided to start them there. We've tinkered around with Larson with kind of a shutdown pair. We had Lagesson with them a little bit. We had Chris Russell with them a little bit. We had Jones with them a little bit. So we kind of like Jones and Bear have been a decent pair here. So we'll try Kulikov in there, and we're just looking for a real steady veteran pair that can play as a shutdown pair, good penalty killers. So we'll try to get them up and running here, see where the best fit for them is.
Everybody's pretty well aware what the standings look like, Dave, and a very good chance you see these guys in the playoffs. Do you think that just naturally will add something to this game tonight that maybe wasn't there in the same way in your previous meetings with these guys?
I think it's been there all year. You've got every game you go into, it's a real competitive game. You've got teams that are, have been jockeying for position for a while. Now it's, now you're kind of, you want to get your game, the last little stretch here, you got to make sure your game is in the right place. So we've looked at it more about getting our game together. You recognize who you're playing against. You recognize strengths and weaknesses of the other team. But we've really put a lot of emphasis on what we're doing here, and we'll continue to do that the last stretch here until we earn a playoff spot.
Jim Matheson, Post Media.
A couple of things, Dave. In McLeod's case, when you're player playing his first game, as a coach, are you saying, I want you to play, but I'm going to play you with some established players like Shore and Archibald, as opposed to throwing you too far up with a lineup, say in a second line? You have to watch as a coach. I want you to play, but I don't want to throw too much at you.
Well, no, you got to get a feel for where he's at. He's never played a game in the league, so you got to get a feel for where he's at. So you don't want to throw him to the wolves, but you want to give him an opportunity. So there's you just look at where maybe a good fit for him on our lineup is, where you can get some quality minutes out of him, and we'll go from there. Like he's built a good resume in the minors, but he's got to continue to build his resume up here, and we'll slot him in. He's got a great attitude. He's played well this year. We thought two good pros that are solid players beside him, give him the best chance to be successful. So that's the way we'll start tonight.
And some lineup things. Smith is playing goal, is he?
Smith will play goal, yeah.
And what's with Jesse's okay?
Jesse's fine, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Kelly Moore, say JOB.
Hey, good morning, Dave, or I guess good afternoon now. First question for you here. Sure, Connor and Leon have been dynamic and dominating in this series. There's no doubt about that. But one other thing that really seems to stand out, Dave, is how well you've played as a group defensively against the Jets, especially during those 4 consecutive wins.
Well, that's something we've talked about since the start of the year. We knew we have to improve 5-on-5. Our penalty killing was really strong last year, but our goals against 5-on-5 wasn't where it needed to be. So that's something we've really put an onus on. We've been better this year. There's still improvement to, I think, in our group as we go down the stretch here, but we try to play a disciplined, hard defending game when we can. We've, our games against Winnipeg have been close, so they've kind of tended to be that kind of games. There's been a couple of them that kind of, it opened up a little bit. For the most part, we're trying to be a more disciplined 5-on-5 team and keep our goals against down. So I think, it's not just Winnipeg. We try to do that throughout the whole schedule.
And I don't know of your coaching career if you've ever had the luxury of being home and cooled off a couple of weeks before a season ends, but how much better is it to be in this scenario? I think for all the teams that are involved, to be fighting and clawing and scratching rather right till the bitter end.
I'm a big believer in that. There was a days, a while ago where teams would get up and they'd rest players, and it's hard to get your competitive juices back going. And it's, everything has been so tight this year. I think every game has felt more like a playoff game than a regular season game. So it's, I think it's good for our group. Every team that's going to make it is going to earn their way in there. And to earn their way in there, you got to be playing well. So we've kind of used it as a motivating factor, and we're going to continue to do that down the stretch here.
Peter Matheson.
Dave, Kara is still not able to play. Is that so?
No, it hasn't been cleared yet. He's skating, doing everything. So we'll see where he gets today and tomorrow. And he's feeling good. Feeling back to normal, but until the doctors give him the 100% okay, we'll leave him out.
And in terms of Ennis and Neil, is either one playing?
Neil's playing, yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Ennis.
Thank you.
Thank you. If there are no more questions, this concludes Dave Tippett's media availability.